should just read it, the straight verses without any commentary, and it seems to be that they're concise enough in themselves and self-explanatory, right?
We also like your commentary.
What?
We also like your commentary.
So. Let's see where we are. Okay. All right, shall we start? Is that thing on? We never know when these things are going or not. Raghunath, you may be blocking the camera, I don't know. Come over. You can.
It's flickering, so maybe it's on pause. Needs to.
What about here? You can sit here, Raghunath. Yeah. Very good.
Yes.
It's on? How long's it been on?
I don't know. I saw it just now. It just started.
Okay, wow, that's... Bandeham Shiguro Shiyata Padakamalam Shigurun Vaishnavamscha Shirupam Sagrajatam Saganaragunatam Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shiranam Bandeyam Shiguro Shiyata Padakamalam Shigurun Vaishnavamscha Shirupam Sagrajatam Saganaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shirada Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishakam Vidamscha Omagyana Timarandasha Gyanajana Shalakya Chakshurun Milidam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Nama Gorva Bistam Supurakam Gurganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam Shirupa Patanagam Govindam Vidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagavat Prem Navi Bija Pranam Devam Divyatanum Suchandavananam Balarka Shilanshitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Banditam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Nyashishwara Sridharam Vanchakopatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Pranayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurachavishe Nama. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. And this is Madhya Lila, chapter 19, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Srila Rupa Goswami. So what we're hearing now is an explanation and continuous explanation of the verse Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jiv Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jiv Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So that verse is that when one, by the mercy of Krishna, one encounters or one takes shelter of a spiritual master, and from the spiritual master one gets a seed of devotional service which is planted in one's heart. And then one waters that seed with the chanting of the Maha Mantra, chanting of the Lord's holy name, and gradually that seed will grow, and it will then pierce the covering of the universe and grow up to the Goloka Vrindavan planet, and there is the desire tree of Krishna Seva. The plant will, in other words, take shelter of the tree of Krishna, and like a creeper, it will take shelter of Krishna. Like we see creepers, they'll grow around trees. And then it will produce fruit of love of Godhead. So, a apparent analogy that we can have is that they use the word bhakti lata, a creeper of devotional service, but from the idea of taking shelter of the tree of Krishna, Radha Krishna. We'll say that a creeper that takes shelter of a tree is like a vine. And there are vines, many vines, that produce fruit. And that fruit will be, here I'll start with this. First, then we're told, while that plant is growing, we're to get rid of weeds that will grow along with it, like jiva himsa, like violent actions or cruelty to other living entities, and pratisha, and so many other things that we have to uproot these weeds that may be growing along with the creeper. Otherwise, they'll take all the nutrition, all the nourishment away from the creeper. Now we do that, and the plant grows. And here it says, Prema phala pakipare male ashvadai lata abalambik male kripa brikapai. Prema phala pakipare male ashvadai lata avalambi male kripa brikapai. When the fruit of devotional service becomes ripe and falls down, the gardener tastes the fruit and thus takes advantage of the creeper and reaches the desire tree of the lotus feet of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. So that's what I was looking for. The desire tree of the lotus feet of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. The plant is now taking shelter there. Tahan se kalpa vriker koreye sevan, suke prema phala rasa kore av ashwadan. There the devotee serves the lotus feet of the Lord, which are compared to a wish-fulfilling tree. With great bliss, he tastes the juice of the fruit of love and becomes eternally happy. The word tahan indicates that in the spiritual world, one can taste the juice of the fruit of devotional service and thus become blissful. Elsewhere it also says that even though one's in the material world, the fruit will fall down and one will be able to taste that fruit. But that fruit is growing in that divine spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan. Eta parama phal, parama purusharta, jara age trina tuya, shari purusharta. To taste the fruit of devotional service in Goloka Vrindavan is the highest perfection of life, and in the presence of such perfection, the four material perfections, religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, are very insignificant achievements. The highest achievement attained by the jnanis, or impersonalists, is becoming one with the Supreme, generally known as moksha, liberation. The highest achievement of the yogis are the 8 material perfections known as anima, lagima, and prapti. And then there's others, of course, 8, but these listed. Yet these are nothing compared to the eternal bliss of the devotee who returns back to God and tastes the fruit of devotional service to the lotus feet of the Lord. The material perfections, even up to the point of liberation, are very insignificant in comparison. Therefore, the pure devotee is never interested in such things. His only interest is imperfecting his devotional service to the Lord. The pleasure of the impersonalist monist philosophers is condemned in the following verse, which is also found in Srila Rupa Goswami's Lalita Madhava. So, elsewhere there's verses that say that condemn the pursuits of the results of jnana and karma. And it says, if even the jnana, if even pure jnana appears undesirable to a devotee, then what to speak of the fruits of mundane actions? If even something that apparently should be considered pure, like jnana, if that is considered ugly to a devotee, then what to speak of the mundane attainments, which will all be taken away in the course of time? So, what we're interested in and what ultimately will help us to understand all these things is what Srila Rupa Goswami terms yukta vairagya. So all these things like vairagya, like jnana, they're all useful if they're done in the sense of service, of their being utilized for the service of the Lord. Otherwise, in and of themselves, they have no attraction. Anything without being related to the Lord's service is unattractive. So, Rida Siddhi Braja Vijayita Satya Dharma Samadir Brahmananda Guru Api Chamad Karayati Eva Tavat Yavat Premnam Madhuripu Vashikara Siro Sarinam Gandopi Antakarana Sharane Pandatam Na Prayati. As long as there is not the slightest fragrance of pure love of Krishna, which is the perfect medicinal herb for controlling Lord Krishna in the heart, the opulences, this fragrance of Krishna, which is the perfect medicinal herb for controlling Lord Krishna within the heart, the opulences of the material perfections known as the siddhis, the Brahminical perfections, Ch.Ch, Ch.Ch, and so on, the trance of the yogis and the monistic bliss of Brahman, all seem wonderful for men. So, all these things will seem wonderful as long as there is not the slightest fragrance of pure love of Krishna. Then, which is said here to be the medicinal herb for controlling Lord Krishna within the heart, then the opulences of the material perfections known as the siddhis, anima, lagima, etc., the Brahminical perfections, satya, shama, titikshya, and so on, satya, truthfulness, shama, all these things like equipoise, being of tranquil mind, etc., the trance of the yogis and the monistic bliss of Brahman all seem wonderful for men. Purport. There are different types of perfections known as siddhi braja, and also the perfections of achieving Brahminical qualifications, yogic trance, and merging into the Supreme. All these material perfections are certainly very attractive for a mundane person, but their brilliance exists only as long as one does not take to devotional service. Devotional service can control the Lord, who is the supreme controller of all universal affairs. The 5 rasas, mellows, in the transcendental world are practiced by the inhabitants of Goloka Vrindavan in neutrality, servitorship, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love. All these please the Lord so much that he is controlled by the devotees. For instance, Mother Yashoda, who Mother Yashoda was so advanced in devotional service that Krishna agreed to be controlled by her stick. In other words, the 5 principal males are so great and glorious that they are able to control the Supreme Lord. In the material world, however, the so-called cities or perfections manifest their brightness only as long as one is not interested in devotional service. In other words, the perfection of the karmis, jnanis, yogis, and others remains attractive only as long as one does not come to the point of devotional service, which is so great and insignificant that it can control the Supreme Controller, Krishna. So this is stated in so many of the scriptures that we're hearing, in the instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami, that karma and jnana are negative, and bhakti or dedication is positive. That is our understanding. And it is said that when one engages in devotional service, that jnana is to be left far to the side. It is not something that is considered something that we desire to attain. Of course, everything that is utilized or useful in this, as I mentioned before, Srila Maharaj, when I told that, oh, you have much knowledge, then he said, Gyan is a minister and comes to offer his service to Bhakti, which is the king. So that Gyan, which is utilization for devotional service. Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojata Janayat Yashu Vairagam Gyanam Chayata Haitukim. That knowledge and Gyanam Vasudevi Gyan, or knowledge, and Vairagya, detachment from mundane things, they will develop naturally in the course of time with devotional service. One doesn't have to make an extraneous effort to gain those things. They will present themselves.
Maharaj, but why do we have books then? Gurudev's books. We should read the book. We're supposed to read the books, aren't we? And that's not trying to get gyan, is it? Just to read the book.
To read the books, that's not gyan. That is we're reading under the instructions of Gurudev. And as I mentioned, Gurudev said, if I am asked to read a particular book, that will be bhakti. If I'm not asked, then it may be jnana or it may be karma. So many books have been presented, and we are asked that we are told that we may read those books, and that is not jnana to read those books. That is devotion. There is a difference. Much will depend on what is the intention. Just like there are many people that chant the Maha Mantra, but not all of them have the same goal in doing so. There are impersonalists who also chant the Maha Mantra, but they don't understand what the Maha Mantra is. And the fruit of chanting the Maha Mantra will not be the same as when the devotees chant. There are impersonalists who even chant the Maha Mantra. But their hope is by chanting, and whatever they do is ultimately that they will attain this impersonalist realization of merging into the Brahma Jyoti. That will be their conclusion. So that's why it's said that when one approaches a spiritual master, one is supposed to gain, or one is supposed to understand getting from that spiritual master sambandha. Sambandha means you'll understand what you're doing, what you're chanting, what is the goal. Sambandha. That may be said, sambandha gyan. All right. Sambandha. Understanding what is the relationship. For instance, the Maha Mantra. Some persons, they'll think that this is Hare Krishna, Krishna we understand, and Rama refers to Ramachandra. But Srila Sridhar said, no, there's nothing in the Maha Mantra about Lord Ramachandra. That Rama refers to Radharaman. That refers to everything about the Maha Mantra for us is in relationship with Krishna and his service. So obviously that's going to be different than so many other persons. If you ask them, what is Hare Krishna and Hare Rama? What is Rama? Oh, Ramachandra. No, that's not our understanding in chanting the Maha Mantra. So there's a different, so as I said, you have to understand Sambandha, what is your spiritual master will help you to understand what are all these different relationships that we have with the Lord and what is the purpose of all these things. Otherwise, there will be misapplication, misunderstanding. And one thinks, and I've seen many devotees, they have that. Ultimately, we want to develop devotion for the Lord and attain prayojana, the love of Godhead, is the ultimate goal. So somebody may say the purpose of life is to get out of this material world. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur doesn't say that. He says that even if I may take birth as an insect, let me take birth in the house of a devotee. And Mahaprabhu is saying in his Sikshastika, he says, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadishaya kamaye, mama janmani janmanishware, bhavatad bhaktira haitukitvahi. Mama janmani janmanishware. All I'm praying for, I don't want any of these four mundane achievements of dharma, artha, kama, or moksha. Dharma, mundane religiosity; artha, economic development; kama, enjoyment; or moksha, liberation. He says, Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktira haitukitvahi. The only thing I want is your devotional service in my life, birth after birth. So birth after birth. Not asking to attain liberation. He's only asking, only prayer is for devotional service. Okay. Rida Siddhi Braja Vijayita Satyadharma Samadir Brahmanando Gurur Api Chamat Karayati Evatavat Yavat Premnam Madhuripu Vashikara Siddho Shadinam Gandopiyanta Karana Sharane Pandatamna Prayati. As long as there is not this, I read this, as long as there is not the slightest fragrance of pure love of Krishna, which is the medicinal herb for controlling Lord Krishna within the heart, the opulences, the material perfections known as the siddhis, the Brahminical perfections, Satya, Samata, Tiksha, and so on, the trance of the yogis, and the monistic bliss of Brahman all seem wonderful for men. Shuddha bhakti hoite hoy prema utpana ateva shuddha bhaktir kohiye lakana. Like we see the example of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. He was illiterate. He couldn't read. But he had all understanding, everything, all realization in devotional service. But according to mundane considerations, how he could be considered learned if he's unable to read. But there is also the answer, Govinda Maharaj said, that when he heard verses from Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he said, those verses were thrown into my consciousness. They stuck there. Just like I may throw something sticky against a wall and it will stick there. So Guru Maharaj had that throwing potency, to throw those verses, to throw that understanding into Srila Govinda Maharaj. But Gaur Kishore, as I was saying, he's illiterate, and yet he is of the highest understanding of devotional service. Shuddha bhakti hoite hoy prema utpana ateva shuddha bhaktir kohiye lakana When one is situated in pure devotional service, one develops love of God, and therefore let me describe some of the symptoms of pure devotional service. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnanakarmadi anavritam anukuyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktirutama. When first-class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy, and fruitive action. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. Anyabhilashita shunyam, without desires other than those for the service of the Lord, or of Lord Krishna, or without material desires, such as those for meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and addiction to intoxicants. Gyan, by the knowledge of the philosophy of the monistic Mayavadis. But it says here, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam, that real devotional service is free from jnana and karma, from knowledge and from karma. Those things are mundane. We see them that way. When first-class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy, and fruitive action. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. This verse is found in Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. As we can understand from the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead wants everyone to think of him always, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto. Everyone should become his devotee, not the devotee of a demigod. Everyone should engage in his devotional service, including archana, deity worship in the temple. So someone can say, well, if there's no knowledge, then won't that just become blind faith? What is the difference between just some fanatic, a devotee, and some fanatic? There's no knowledge involved, so there's just fanaticism. But no, because there is what is called realization. One is engaging devotional service, there should be realization. One advances, one attains realization. I may not be in the final stage where I am at, I have achieved the goal of developing love of God, that I have understood my personal relationship with the Lord, that I'm engaged in one of the rasas, etc. But one thing we'll notice, for instance, when we're flying here, flying from California to England, or from wherever you're coming from, on the planes they have those little maps, that show where you're going and then how far you've flown in this. And you can see different cities along the way, along the map. I haven't reached the destination, but I know I'm going in the right direction. I see on the map, oh, here, I've just passed this point on the map, which is on the route. Just like when I'm driving a car, I have a map, and I see, oh, I'm going here, and I'm supposed to come to this city. And maybe if I don't reach that city, I think, oh, maybe I made a wrong turn somewhere. I didn't reach that city. That I'm looking on the map, I just came to this city. It's way off the way, so I made a wrong turn somewhere. I have to go back or make a correction. But if I'm actually driving correctly, I can see on the map, oh, I'm supposed to come to this city, okay, I passed that city. Now I'm supposed to come to this city, I passed that city. I'm supposed to come to all these different places, and I passed them. So I know that according to what I understand, what I've heard of the commentaries of the acharyas, this is supposed to be along the route that I'm taking for devotional service. And I've seen many positive things. I've seen that all my mundane friends from before, they want nothing to do with me. They want nothing to do with me. They're thinking, oh, he's no longer an enjoyable personality. He doesn't want to go to He doesn't want to go here. He doesn't want to drink. He doesn't want to engage in enjoyment. His association is now undesirable. So I consider that positive. I consider that that's a positive thing. Oh, I become unpopular. I've become unpopular with so many of these persons. That's good. But I have new friends, persons who are devotees, and they're happy to gather together and discuss topics of devotional service and glorify Gurudev and so many other things. And I find that enjoyable. So I think those are positive attainments. It's not that I'm just some cloistered monk and I have a hood over my head and I avert and I keep my eyes always on the ground and I avert the gaze or the attention of anyone else.
And you brew beer.
What?
And you brew beer.
And
The monks in Europe always used to be like this, but they brew beer, man.
they what? Grew a beard?
They made beer.
Oh, they brewed beer. They brewed beer. I thought that, well, I saw some monks that it said that they made wine, not beer. Those must be German monks that you're speaking of.
We'll ask later.
Maybe German or Dutch monks, maybe.
It's called Buckfast Abbey.
What's that?
Buckfast Abbey. They make the best wine for the people that live on the street.
How would you know?
I have drunk a lot of it.
All right. Yeah. Let's see, so we read. Anya Bancha, Anya Puja, Chari Gyan Karma, Anukuye, Sarvendriye, Krishna Nushilana. A pure devotee must not cherish any desire other than serve Krishna. He should not offer worship to the demigods or to mundane personalities. He should not cultivate artificial knowledge, which is devoid of Krishna consciousness. And he should not engage himself in anything other than Krishna conscious activities. One must engage all one's purified senses in the service of the Lord. This is a favorable execution of Krishna conscious activities. And it says, Anya Bancha, Anya Puja, Chari Gyan Karma. Now it's saying he shouldn't cultivate Gyan, knowledge, or karma. And here in the explanation, it's explained in English, one should not cultivate artificial knowledge. But it's saying Gyan, karma, these are things that we don't cultivate. We don't cultivate Gyan and we don't cultivate karma. We're not interested in engaging ourselves in mundane activities, and we're not interested in the pursuit of knowledge. Because why? What do those things have to do with the service of the Lord? They're just dry and of themselves. So, E Shuddha Bhakti Iha Hoite Prema Hoy Pancharatre Bhagavate E Lakan Koi. These activities are called Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service. If one renders such pure devotional service, one develops one's original love for Krishna in due course of time. In Vedic literatures like the Pancharatras and Srimad Bhagavatam, these symptoms are described. These activities are called Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service. If one renders such pure devotional service, he develops his original love for Krishna in due course of time. In Vedic literatures like the Pancharatras and Srimad Bhagavatam, these symptoms are described. Sarvopadi vinir muktam tatparat vena nirmalam rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. Bhakti, or devotional service, means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. So, bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord. And that's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses, Rishikesha. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. So, here it mentions that the Lord's the controller of all the senses, but what are mundane material designations? Upadis. Upadis are mundane material designations. Most people, they'll identify themselves according to upadis. Like you could see, if I asked you, who are you? And you'll show me, oh, this is who I am. This is my identity card. This is my driver's license, and this is my passport, and these are my credit cards. These are all this shows who I am. This is identifying me. No, those are all upadis. You're none of those things. You tell me, especially in the modern age, if you tell me I'm a man or a woman, well, that may even change. That may change in the future. If you tell me that you're British, that may change in the future. If you tell me you're rich or poor, that may also change in the future. If you're of this particular political persuasion, that may also change. People tend to be very, people tend to be very liberal when they're young. They tend to be very conservative when they're old. So I don't like either of those designations. Neither liberal or conservative. Forget about that. And all these other mundane designations, your religion, that may change. There's nothing about you that may not change. Everything may change. Therefore, they're called upadis. Then someone says, what if I say that I'm an eternal servant of the Lord? I say, that's not an upadi. That is a real designation, and that will not change. That is your eternal identity. So, Sarvopadi vinir muktam tatparat vena nirmalam rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. And all the senses are supposed to be utilized in the service of who is the Lord of the senses. That's obviously not me, because we're told that there is the senses, which may include the mind. And what is the first thing that Srila Maharaj told Govinda Maharaj? Will you stay? Will you stay? Yes. Can you serve me and not, can you listen to what I say and not follow your mind? If I will follow my mind and everything that is, fed to my mind, if I will follow my mind, I will never reach devotional service. Rather, I'll reach hell. So you may say, well, I don't believe in hell. Okay, you don't believe in hell, but you can be in a hellish condition in this mundane world. How? Just follow your mind. That'll help you. Mad guna shruti matrena mai sarva guhashaye manogatir anvitshina yata gangamba sombudo. Just as the celestial waters of the Ganges flow unobstructed into the ocean, so when my devotees simply hear of me, their minds come to me. I reside in the hearts of all. Just as the celestial waters of the Ganges flow unobstructed into the ocean, so when my devotees simply hear of me, their minds come to me. I reside in the hearts of all. And Ganges flows to the ocean. Many of the big rivers, ultimately, where do they wind up? They flow to the ocean. You cannot obstruct them. They flow to the ocean. The waters will, okay, if you build a dam, maybe that will obstruct that. But just as the celestial waters of the Ganges flow unobstructed into the ocean, so when my devotees simply hear me, their minds come to me. I reside in the hearts of all. That's the natural flow. But then you can say, well, then their minds come to me. So then why are you diminishing the importance of the mind? And I'm not diminishing the importance of the mind. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that the mind can be the greatest enemy or the best friend. So, unless that mind has come to one has realized one's eternal relationship with the Lord and one is serving the Lord in one's spiritual body, then naturally the mind will be the best friend. But is that the position normally that we will achieve in this material world? How will I control my mind and senses? That's very difficult. If you find a way, let me know. Lakshanam bhakti yogasya nirgunasya udaratam ahaituki abhyavahita yabhakti purushottame. These are the characteristics of transcendental loving service to Purushottama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is causeless and it cannot be obstructed in any way. So then devotional service is causeless and cannot be obstructed in any way. I think I talked about this point because if you think of yourself as how you're existing in this world, can you think of anything in your life that is causeless, that has no material motivation? Is there anything that you've thought of or done that has no material motivation? Well, it's hard to think of that because we're not on the path of we haven't attained, this level of devotional service. So to think that something is causeless. I'm usually considering all the different kinds of this is a benefit and this is beneficial for this reason, and at the same time it's not beneficial for these reasons. And everything is rather calculative. And as far as unobstructed, you can see that things are not unobstructed because some days you wake up and you think, oh, I don't feel so well. I don't even want to get out of bed today. Maybe instead of cooking, I can just put something in the microwave. I remember I was going to visit my mother and I don't know, Govinda, my mother, obviously, even though she wasn't a vegetarian, she would always cook nice things for me, vegetarian things and all that. But then Govinda Maharaj told me, these were his words, he said, that I was eating what my mother cooked. He said, you're an acharya, how can you do that? So I thought, wow, I'm not even supposed to take vegetable things that my mother cooks for me. So I'd take my own, I'd usually visit my mother once or twice a year for a day and a half, and I'd take my own metal pots with me and cook. And sometimes I'd let my brother eat something that I cooked, which I'm not a very good cook, so they didn't relish that so much. And then,
I didn't drink from it.
okay. I have it down. It's because I already spilled one today.
Oh, okay. We can spill another.
So I took my own pots and I was cooking. And like that. So my mother knew that she's not supposed to cook for me. That was the instruction I got from Govinda Maharaj. She said, "You're an acharya, how can you do that?" So I did. Then I cooked myself and I would visit my mother. But one day she put some corn on the cob. She put it in the microwave and she said, "Do you want to push the button?" That's her. Oh yeah, okay. So then I was following to the letter the instructions of Gurudev. But so what was I talking about before that? I was talking about what?
Uninterrupted.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying without any material motivation and without any obstruction. Oh, then I gave the example, some days I may wake up and I don't want to do anything. So I think, I'll just stick this in the microwave and I'll push the button, and that brought to mind that memory of my mother telling me I could push the button on the microwave in their house, rather than her pushing the button and therefore it being unacceptable for me to eat because it was cooked by her. So anyway, first of all, nothing in my life is really unobstructed, because we see that, one time I was talking to one devotee and I said, well, how can I learn this particular thing? And he said, oh, it's easy, just write it into your day planner or day timer? Day planner. I thought, what day planner? There is nothing in my life that I do that follows rhyme or reason. Nothing. Even when I travel, a lot of times I purchase tickets late. I mean, if there's going to be a big difference in price, I'll purchase the ticket late, but then I'll purchase it in the last minute, but I'll put it some weeks ahead so that it can get a cheaper price. But I don't do anything really regularly with anticipation, etc. I'm very kind of like. So I'm here in England, somebody's writing me, well, we want you to come here, so are these dates acceptable? And I'm thinking, I can't think that far ahead. And I'm thinking also that he gave me some dates, and I thought, those are too close. I haven't even gotten back, so I want to see with a little bit of anticipation. But that anticipation won't be real anticipation. It'll be when I'm a little more settled, so to speak. So without any material motivation, I'm always weighing in so many considerations. So that's not happening without nothing I'm doing is without any mundane. First of all, it's not without any obstruction. We see there's so many things in our lives that may obstruct and radically change our plans. That happens all the time. So without material motivation and without obstruction. So that's not happening to us in this mundane world. So how would that happen? Well, Guru Maharaj, Srila Maharaj, gave an example, because there's a verse that says, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti rad hoksaje ahaitukiya pradiyat yayatma suprasidati. That's those same words, ahaituki, without any material motivation and without any obstruction. So one should establish Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti rad hoksaje. One should establish a loving relationship with the Lord. The highest attainment for a person will be to establish a loving relationship with the Lord. And that relationship should be free of any material motivation in serving the Lord, and it should be without any obstruction. So I could not think of anything that's without material motivation or obstruction in my life. Nothing. So then how am I to think of attaining that level of devotional service? But Guru Maharaj explains, he says, that plane of devotional service already exists. Whether you have attained it or not, that plane of devotional service exists. And by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, that plane may descend to me. So then he says, it is without material motivation because it's a spiritual plane. It already exists. There's nothing material about that. So it's not that you will attain that of your own without any material motivation. That plane of devotion, if you are able to, if that plane will descend to you, it is without material motivation because it's a pure plane of devotion that is already existing. And if it comes to you, another way of understanding without any obstruction means that it's irresistible. There's nothing you can do to resist that plane of devotion. So, we heard, as a joke, someone said, there's one sweet that is so good that even while you're eating that sweet, you're lamenting that it will soon be gone, and you're feeling that, it's so good that even while you're eating it, you're feeling, that soon it will be gone. So irresistible, something. But what is the real meaning of irresistible? It means, that's what it's saying. It cannot be obstructed. Irresistible means that, can't be obstructed. It's irresistible, something that's so irresistible, and how can I understand that meaning of irresistible? How about a tsunami? A tsunami. You're on the beach, or you're in your house near the ocean, just like that, what was that city, Fuji, city in Japan where the nuclear reactors were.
Hiroshima.
No, not Hiroshima. Nuclear reactors, not nuclear bomb. The nuclear reactors, which in the city in Japan, that it produced almost a catastrophe as big as Chernobyl. Well, I forget the name of that city in Japan. We're all on red. We don't know that city. But a tsunami came there, and it almost caused a glow. Sometimes one might think that some of man's achievements are not so great achievements after all. That tsunami came, and it should not be so unanticipated in Japan that tsunamis may come there. They have tsunamis all the time. It's an island. And that tsunami came and practically almost caused a national catastrophe. I mean, people in Tokyo were rushing to the supermarkets to buy water and food. That's how big a catastrophe that was. And it was caused by a tsunami. So when I say irresistible, think of a tsunami. You're within a few miles of the ocean, a tsunami comes. How will you resist the waves of that tsunami? If you're out on the beach, how will you resist the waves of the tsunami? It will carry you, just like a small piece of straw. So that's one understanding of irresistible. You're caught within that wave of love and of devotion, and you can't resist it. It's so overpowering. So that is another way of understanding. Without material motivation and without obstruction, that plane of devotion exists, and if it will descend to me, it will not be by any reason of anything that I've done on the material plane to achieve it, and it will be irresistible. I won't be able to obstruct it. There's nothing I will be able to do to obstruct that if that plane comes to me. And things may come by the mercy of the Lord. by Guru Kripa, by what are the words for Kripa? Guru Kripa, and Bhagavad Kripa, different forms of mercy of the Lord that may come to me. So just as, then let's see. These are the characteristics of transcendental loving service to Purushottama, the Supreme Personality of God. It is causeless and it cannot be obstructed in any way. Salokya Sharshti Samipya Sarupyai Katvam Apiyuta Diyamanam Nagrinanti Vinamat Sevanam Jana. My devotees do not accept Salokya Sharshti Sarupya Samipya or oneness with me, even if I offer these liberations in preference to serving me. My devotees do not accept Salokya. So what is Salokya? It's a form of liberation. It means being on the same planet as the Lord. Salokya, Loka means planet. Salokya means being on the same planet as the Lord. Sharshti, having opulence equal to mine. Samipya, having direct association with me. Sarupya, having the same form as me, meaning on Vaikuntha everyone has 4 arms. So they have the same form as the Lord. And ekatvam, oneness with me. So Salokya, my devotees do not accept Salokya, living on the same planet, Sharshti, Sarupya, Samipya, or oneness with me, even if I offer these liberations in preference to serving me. In preference to serving me. Now, there are some cases where people do live on the same planet as the Lord. They do have opulences like those of the Lord. They do have a form like that of the Lord, and they do have the association of the Lord because they live on, but they don't accept those things. Those are 4 different kinds of liberation. They don't accept that. Their goal is not to attain those liberations, and they don't accept those liberations in preference to the serving to the Lord. They're not engaged in bhakti for any of those reasons. And then there's a 5th one, which means merging with the Lord, or it says, or attaining oneness with the Lord. They don't accept that in any case. They will not accept merging with the Lord. That is not even on the table. That's not even something that's attainable or acceptable by the devotees in preference to serving the Lord. So the preference will always be service to the Lord. Now they may accept those kinds of liberations if it is in line with their service, but it's not something they want. Okay, Saivabha, well, I think it's time to stop, right? Does anyone have a question?
I can say one more verse, because then it's saying Bhakti Yoga, as described above, is the ultimate goal of Bhakti.
All right, so
Kind of the end.
let's see. Saeva Bhakti Yoga Kya At Yantika Udarita Yinativ Vraja Trigunam Madbhava Yopapadyate. Now I know why Govinda Maharaj liked big bold letters as opposed to italics. Saeva Bhakti Yogakya Atyantika Udarita Yenatir Vraja Trigunam Madbhava Yopapadyate. Bhakti Yoga, as described above, is the ultimate goal of life. By rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God, one transcends the modes of material nature and attains the spiritual position on the platform of direct devotional service. Bhakti Yoga, as described above, is the ultimate goal of life. By rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God, one transcends the modes of material nature and attains the spiritual position on the platform of direct devotional service. Okay. One transcends the modes of material nature and attains a spiritual position on the platform of direct devotional service to the Lord. Okay. Just 1 second.
257 verses.
Uh-huh.
257 verses in the chapter.
No, I wasn't. I by mistake took out the marker out from where it was before. Pradimna Mishra, chapter 5, 120, 122. Okay. I'll put it back at the beginning of the chapter. I don't know where everyone was reading before. Put this here. Okay. Okay. Anyone have a question?
Who was speaking to who? Where was the dialogue taking place?
Pardon me?
This dialogue was taking place. Who was speaking to who about this?
Who was speaking to who about this?
In the
Well, Mahaprabhu is instructing Srila Rupa Goswami. That's the title of the chapter. It's in the Madhya Lila. What is it? Which chapter is that? 19, I think.
And where?
Where?
That Pandita.
Well, we left off at, just finished text 174. How many verses in the chapter?
257 approximately.
Oh, okay. I didn't start at the beginning of this chapter. It was Rupa Goswami's disappearance day, and Mahaprabhu had traveled to Prayag, which modern day is near Allahabad, although I think it's gone back to the name. I was told the name now is Mahaprayag, that they changed the name of now is called Mahaprayag.
Either Mahaprayag or Prayag, I'm not sure which.
Okay. So, because one of our devotees is in Sokel, he is from Prayag. Anyway, he told me it was called Mahaprayag now. But he maybe has a different name in
It's
India.
one of these renamed places like Bombay became
Mumbai. Well, the English couldn't pronounce so many words just like me, and they caused disturbance with the names. They changed Kolkata to Calcutta. They changed Chennai, I guess, to Madras.
Prayagraj.
Huh?
Prayagraj.
Prayagraj.
Allahabad new name is Prayagraj. 16th of October 2018, the Uttar Pradesh Cabinet on Tuesday approved proposal.
Okay, so names were changed back to what their adulterated names were. Bombay became Mumbai, Calcutta became Kolkata, Madras became Chennai, Allahabad became Prayagraj, and there's other cities also.
And Delhi was Hastinapura.
What?
Hastinapura was Delhi.
No, I haven't heard that Delhi changed its name.
I didn't change his name, but it was New Delhi. We read it in the purpose, at least.
It was what?
Hastinapur, which is referred to.
Yeah, but they didn't change the name back to. They didn't change the name to Elephant Town.
Not yet.
Didn't become Elephant Town. Any other question? No, Pur is not town. Puri is what? Oh, it's Balaram. Looking very smart today, that Balaram. And tomorrow is our appearance of Mahabalaram. Come in, come in.
Time to sing. Yeah, you can sit on the wet one.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govindaram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Garadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Rasa Raghunath Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jai Te Vignanasha Vishna Puran Jai Gosai Charmui Paradan Dasavar Padarenu Mora Panchagan Pare Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibhan Janame Janame More Amiran Jai Gosai Jabe Braje Golaban Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Gaurila Pradhan Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Bindugan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Madhya Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Guryan Hare Nam Sankirtana Kohe Narotamona Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gora Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyasta Tara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charya Ashtatara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Guru Rupanuga Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad Ki Jai. Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Vishwavarenya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Shyam Guna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Ju Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. London Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Sripad Bhakti Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai. Sripad Bhakti Kamal Tyagi Maharaj Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Lord.
Jai Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Ki Jai. Go.
Hey Balaram, come here, come here. So they can see you on the camera. Come. 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 Now stand up and face. You can, come here. We want you to stand up so they can see you on the camera. You Raghunath, help him stand up, then we can see. Here, help him.